Digital Summit, organized and presented by Internet and Mobile Association of India along with Niti Aayog. As we're already aware, this two-day virtual conference has been focusing on the theme Atmanirbhar Bharat, the start of a new decade. And this year, hashtag 15IDS has brought in thought leadership on various digital initiatives covering policies, business, investment, advertising, digital commerce, startup ecosystem, emerging tech, esports, among many other digital trends. This year, we've seen a massive growth in numbers with over 50 sessions, 150 plus speakers, and more than 3,500 delegates registering for the conference. Before starting off, I would like to take this opportunity to quickly thank our partners, our diamond partner, Google, our platinum partners, InMobi and Facebook, our digital growth partner, Microsoft, our omni-channel partner, Zendesk, our customer experience partner, Adobe, our customer engagement partner, Infobip, our gold partners, Freshworks and Tata Teleservices, our silver partners, Reverie, Language Technology and Philose, our bronze partners, CrediWatch and InShots, our design partner, Wiseape, our media partner, Financial Express, and our PR partner, We Communicate. Wow. So with that, let us begin with our session. This session is a panel discussion on the topic Entertainment Industry for Bharat. And for the same, I would like to welcome our esteemed guests. First, I would like to welcome our moderator of the session, Mr. Avi Kumar, Head of Marketing ZEE5. We welcome you, Mr. Kumar.
Hi, thank you.
Yes, and then I would like to welcome our esteemed panelists, Mr. Shibashish Sarkar, Group CEO, Content, Digital and Gaming, Reliance Entertainment.
Hi.
We welcome you, sir. Mr. Saqib Salim, a very popular and talented actor and model of the Hindi film industry today. We welcome you, Saqib.
Hi, Garima. How are you?
Hi.
Hi, everybody else. Hi.
And Mr. Siddharth Mishra, a renowned award-winning writer and theatre enthusiast. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Garima. Hello, everyone.
I would now request Mr. Kumar to please take over the session.
Thank you so much, Garima. Hello, everyone. This digital boom has shifted from the urban English-speaking India to the multilingual and extremely diverse Bharat. So a term which is often used to describe the massive semi-urban rural population of the country. So today we are going to discuss entertainment for Bharat. And I have with me the esteemed panel that Garima just introduced. I would like to talk a little bit more about each of the panelists. Saqib, though he doesn't need any introduction, but a film actor, model. After moving to Mumbai, I think he started off his career with several advertisements. And while doing the TVCs, he also grew interest in films and started auditioning for film roles. He made his acting debut with Mujhse Friendship Karoge, Mere Dad Ki Maruti, a box office success. And then on OTT, he debuted with Rangbaz on ZEE5, one of the most successful content franchises. He's been appreciated and awarded for his performances across the category. Shibashish is a media and entertainment industry stalwart and has more than 25 years of experience. He's handled multiple verticals across gaming, films, television, animation, digital content, and the New India platforms. He's a part of the leadership team of the Reliance ADA and has established and scaled business operations, driving sustainable growth for the business. Coming to Siddharth, he's an award-winning writer and has bagged several awards for shows and films like Rangbaz, 377 Abnormal. He's an engineer who's turned into an advertising professional, who then turned into a radio jockey, turned into a writer. So Siddharth has, I think, dabbled almost all forms of storytelling in different fields and in different formats. While continuing with his popular Big FM show, he also developed a concept which he then turned into a flagship property, which is now a show on ZEE5. So without taking much time, now I will go on to the discussion. Shibashish, we'll start with you. And you've seen the entertainment industry in India constantly evolving. How has this journey been for you, first of all? Also, what kind of content would interest the larger part of population? What does the industry trends look like for entertaining the Bharat? Your view, Shubhashish.
Right. So I think it's quite a wide question, but let me take one thing at a time. To give a background, so far as the journey of the entertainment industry, what I have seen in this country, uh, every time this discussion crop up anywhere in any forum, I start off with always one data that India's media and entertainment industry, almost over last 30 years, maybe a little more, maybe almost over last 40 years, uh, year on year, has been growing consistently at double the growth of country's GDP. So the country's GDP is at 8%, entertainment industry grew at 16%. When the country's GDP at 5%, the entertainment industry grows at 10%. And it is not 1 year of aberration or 2 year of aberration. Over a period of last 30, 40 years, we have seen that is the growth. The fact of the life, what it basically means is that the country of 130 crore population, young population, who have slowly have been growing and have been more purchasing power and over a period of time, is interested to consume content. Now, whether the content coming on a big screen in a cinema or it's coming on a small screen or a television, we have seen the 90s when the whole satellite channels and the whole that industry got launched, and we have seen one shift at that point. Of course, the film industry was quite old, more than like 100 years old industry. Then in the and before 90s, we have seen the Doordarshan of the world. Then in the 90s, we have seen the GEC channel slowly getting launched and a new setup of milestones getting created. And probably last 3 years, and of course in between the different other segment, I'm not even touching the print and prints or other modes of industry. But of course, the last 3 years we have been seeing the growth in terms of the content consumption through a streaming platform, OTT, as we like to say. Honestly, the country has more than 40 platforms now, probably more than any other country, even a large, much more matured country, which like US and etc. don't have so many platforms. But in India, we have now close to more than 40 platforms. And still many of the large platforms are yet to come. I mean, which are already launched. Like if you take an example of Apple, if you take an example of HBO Max, or you would take an example of Peacock, they're all looking at the country. Also, the one point which I want to mention at this stage is specifically for the OTT content or for the streaming content opportunities which is in India. We always pitch in any forum when we always speak that we are a country of 150 crore population or 1.3 billion population, and so we are a country where the consumption is huge. If you look a little bit from a global perspective, that why these global platforms are looking at India as an opportunity or India as an opportunity for subscriber. If you look at the markets of like a North America or Europe, North America is now already a highly saturated market. As many new platforms are coming, they have a certain segment of place. Their next level of subscriber, if they look at a next big country where they have to enter, they can't enter China because China everything is regulated. They don't allow the large multinational players to have their platform launch. So by sheer number or by sheer arithmetic, you don't have a choice but to come to India. So while we see that next 3 to 5 years, we'll see probably disproportionate growth of these opportunity in terms of creating content and streaming content of the platform. From a consumer perspective, from a storytelling perspective, I also feel that the Indian writers and the Indian director stories are now global. So for me, I think it is we are on the just at the cusp or the verge of the next revolution in terms of the opportunities in content. And yeah, I think as an individual, as an organization, we are all thriving these opportunities.
Great. So Siddharth, Shubhashish spoke about how the growth is going to next phase of growth for a lot of companies is going to come from India, and also how storytelling is going really global from an Indian perspective also. The regular soap operas, movies have got limited appeal to the consumers, maybe, and we have the consumer who's more vocal in their demand for entertainment options. He's more modern. How, Siddharth, you think should one cater to this demand? What are the different genres as a writer you think work well for the entertainment, which is for the larger part of the country?
So as Shibasi's pointed out very clearly that, we are at the cusp of, becoming very global in terms of our storytelling and writing and content creation. But what I really feel is with the advent of OTT in India per se, which is, I think, about 3.5 or 3 years back, 2017 mid, we saw the first quote unquote original series on an Indian platform. So my take is, now we are more eager and more ready to consume our local content. So it's more of a local thing than trying to be global in that sense. So our OTT platforms and web series or web shows on any streaming platform, they are becoming more and more global. So when you say, I know, the why do you use Bharat and not India? Because by Bharat you definitely mean the local India, right? Those pockets of India which were hitherto somehow not being represented in a on a very mass scale. They were treated as some special sectors of this country. But with the coming of all these platforms and all these shows, we have this opportunity to really go into that market and show their lives. The recent example being Gullak. It's like a very small town UP household, and it has a universal appeal. People sitting in Bombay or Bandra or Juhu, they also can relate to it, or they also can know about their lives, and they are really enjoying it. And same platform is having a show called Scam, which is a very urban show, dealing with some really global concepts at that time, 1992, 93, when the scam happened. So there is a scope of all the genres. If you ask me which particular genre, so no, India as a market, and I think Shibashish could highlight this point later, that even in terms of films, we were never very genre oriented. We always had those mix of all the genres, most of the time. I'm talking majorly about films. A gangster film will have a family drama, so like I cannot say that Satya is a gangster film, So we always try to combine different genres, and that's what appealed to us. And when Avi, you say that, all the soap operas, by soap operas, you definitely mean the Saas Bahu serials, right? Which we have been consuming for the last 10, 15 years. But that also the demand of that time, when it was launched, we didn't have any such series or serials on television. But yeah, we got into a very formatted kind of content creation, formatted kind of writing, so where writers don't have much to say, all dictated by the platforms and the creative heads, how the reality was. But now, after getting thoroughly bored of all these genres, we are going back to the roots where the original stories exist. And all these series, you name it, and you will find that the location, the language, represents some different world, some different pocket of India, and that's the beauty of the streaming platform. So my take will be
Yeah.
this one.
So Siddharth, while there are different genres which are coming up, and there are different segment of audiences which are looking for content of their choice. There is a huge audience which is looking for soap opera still and has a loyal base, and yet there is an audience who's looking for content of their choice on other mediums, other platforms. Sakib, my next question will be to you, a progression of the question to Siddharth, that you also see a slight bend in the curve with audiences who are recognizing talent over fame and real over mainstream. So you made your OTT debut with ZEE5, and you over the period you've evolved as an actor, as a person. How do you see the entertainment industry in India elevating from an actor's point of view?
I'll firstly, good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. Coming to what everybody was saying, that what I could get out of it, that we were working on formulas earlier. Now we're working on stories. Now we want to know. Like there was a time when I'd come to Bombay, when people used to say if there was a certain dialect in a film or a certain language in the film, and they would say कि यार ये mass level पे appeal नहीं करेगा लोगों को. We have to make it pan India. And now, as storytellers, as actors, we love doing things like that. We want to get a dialect or a different kind of a language in a film, and somehow that reaches out to more people. Like I can give you my example. When I did Rangbaz for Z5, we specifically wanted to get the UP dialect in the show, and we weren't shying away from it. We weren't saying ki by doing this we are going to restrict our audiences. I felt like by doing something which is authentic and real, you increase your audiences. So you're right. There has been a change in how audiences are viewing content now. They don't want to only see actors who are very famous. They want to see actors who are really talented. So even last year, I saw a show called Patal Lok, and I saw Jaideep Ahlawat in it, and I was blown away. And if it was 5 years ago, maybe A, this show wouldn't have been made, and B, if there was a movie like that, then maybe Jaideep Ahlawat wouldn't be playing that role. There would be some other actor who maybe draws a certain box office playing that role. So I think yes, audiences over the years have changed. That's also because I think with the advent of all these OTT platforms that have come, whether it is Z5, Netflix, Amazon, Sony Live, all these platforms that have come about, they've really shown people a different. They've shown people different kinds of content, and people get to choose from a Gullak and a Patal Lok. They get to choose, and yet the viewership on all these shows is immense because these are different stories people are interested in. So I think with the digital mediums coming out, we are really pushing boundaries in terms of content. So it really gives audiences something that they haven't seen before. Otherwise, like I said before, we were making these larger than life films, which are great, which I really enjoy. But then with those films, we also have to have something else for the audience to see and to enjoy.
Sure.
Mm.
Siddharth, Sakib just mentioned that content is really powerful and it is becoming more powerful than ever. Content being the talk of the town, the power actually lies in the hands of the content and the way it's written. So there are multiple notions about content writing that are floating around in the entertainment industry. The writers are much in demand yet again. Does this give hope to the Yuva India for more career opportunities? You think what would be your take on it?
Avi, thank you very much. I'm glad you are calling me Yuva. So I'm still in that age bracket. Thank you so much.
You're
So-
younger than me, Siddharth. What do you say? Just because your dadi is grayed a little. I color it, sir. I color it.
So, but yeah, as you say that writers are in demand, writers were always in demand. The thing is, writers now have a say. They can tell a story which they want to. Obviously, in consultation with you guys, the channel guys or the producers, but they have a larger say in the content creation now. And I find OTTs, closer to films than TV in India. It can be different elsewhere. Like, Mad Men or Breaking Bad, they were TV shows which did extremely well on OTT platforms. But India, it does not happen. India, even the shoot happens like films. We want to see something like film on OTT. Obviously in a long format. But I want to add one thing, Avi, that because of those 15 years when we saw quote unquote soap operas on television, from 2000 till 2014-15, the writers are not very comfortable writing in a limited series in a long format in India. They are not habitual of that. So I think they are still struggling, to find a way. Because in most of the series, which are in continuation, where the same story goes forward in second season, in India, it is happening a lot that, second season usually does, uh, it don't do as well as the first season. And that's where the problem lies, because they don't have a long story to say. Most of them are consumed in 9 or 10 episodes, and that's where I am struggling with, and that's where most of the writers or content creators, they struggle, because एक एक घंटे के 10 एपिसोड लिखना मतलब आप 10 घंटे का कंटेंट लिख रहे हैं जो कि आपने कभी किया नहीं है लाइफ में. आपको 1 घंटे की स्टोरी नहीं आती है बतानी. यू आर हैबिचुअल ऑफ राइटिंग 18 minutes of content, or 20 minutes of content, and suddenly you are asked to write an 1.5 hour episode of a particular series, and you don't know what to do. So on one hand, it definitely gives a lot of opportunity to all the writers, all across India. No, not India, Bharat, as you say, as you call it. So they can be from UP, they can be from Bengal, they can be from Northeast. They have their different stories to say. But where they are getting restricted is the newer format, which is the long format. So I think it will still take some time, to reach there where we can also make like 10 or 12 season series, because I don't see any series right now which can go beyond 3 seasons, frankly speaking. And you can see the constant decline in the quality of the content, because we don't know, like after the success of first season, हमें क्या करना है, हमें पता नहीं है, किसी कैरेक्टर को लाना था लेकिन हमने मार दिया है, तो क्या करें, because we don't,
Punarjanam.
so that's one point I always wanted to mention, and you just asked me. So apart from the opportunities, this is one struggle where, which the content creators and the writers have to go through.
Correct. Shubhajit, we've seen that there is a lot of people who've come onto online streaming with the internet and the mobile, reaching onto cities, villages, and even places where there was not even a sign of theater hall. Uh, when Siddharth talks about the different kind of writing, different types of content that is now available, what do you think should be a strategy from a content perspective, from an online streaming perspective, to really entertain the different types of segments of audiences that are there?
So I think to start the point, what you are making, that it is an admitted fact that in terms of a reach, technically where OTT platform can reach, it's technically much deeper, or the penetration can be much higher than any other medium what we have seen. Probably just after newsprint, I mean, the reach of OTT, I mean, or probably a satellite channel, that kind of reach, it can be possible. Yes, you are correct. I think, I mean, why go into small towns? I mean, you'll find, I mean, actually on a different point, India is really our penetration of cinemas are very low. As a country where our penetration of cinemas are very low, and probably OTT can be a substitute on that scope as an opportunity. Having said so, I mean, and what is adding on to the situation is that we are in a country where probably the data cost is cheapest among the world. Virtually there is no data cost, and secondly, one can have a smartphone at a 5,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees. One can have a smartphone. So a certain level of there is an ability of providing the hardware or an accessibility of the hardware is there. If there is a good content, then the people probably will like to consume. Now, the question what you are saying, that is there a separate strategy? One should have a separate strategy to reach across to the last mile. The fact of the life is, yes, I mean, it is a yes and a no in a situation. Because I find, I mean, it is very evolving, and I find it extremely interesting to experience this whole journey. that there are times when you bring ago when Saki was making a point that you find that there are contents when you make films, there are contents we make like, oh, okay, this is a single screen film, this is a mass film, this is a multi film. We divide into genres, divide into community, that which community will like what kind of films, right? And it is true. I mean, in spite of we like it or not like it, there is a certain consumer behavior which have established those facts over a period of life. I mean, I'm slightly debating, but I'll give an example. I think almost when we released our first Singham, the first Singham came, I think 2011. 1 week earlier, there was another very successful film came for Zindagi Na Milega Dobara. And people who are familiar in Bombay and Juhu, I mean, so Zindagi Na Milega Dobara was running on PVR Juhu and Singham was running in Chandan. It is just opposite of one particular lane, right? The fact of life that Singham was doing houseful in Chandan and it was not running in PVR Juhu. We are not getting the occupancy, and the vice versa for Zindagi Na Milega Dobara. I mean, it's an amazing world where a certain section of audience or certain section of community, they choose their path. Now, is there a science or we should establish the science? The answer is yes. Now, if we take that same theory back in a OTT world or a streaming world, it is true that you need to tell stories to reach your audience, right? Now, are those stories if you are telling a story which I mean, probably like a counter thought that if you're telling a story which is a little bit evolved or which is a little bit from a city centric, is it going to attract to a small town? Or are you going to tell a story of a small town to attract a small town or vice versa? I don't know whether there is a strong yes or strong no to a thought process, but I can definitely admit that when we select content, when we strategize for content, or even when we make content, we think in our mind that which platform this will work. Which platform, like honestly, I mean, in here, like when you look at ZEE5, we look at a TG which is mass. If I have a mass subject, I'll take it to a ZEE5, I'll take it to an Amazon. If it's a subject which is probably a little bit intelligent, a little niche, I'll probably take it to a Netflix. So we start thinking, it is not that somebody has told us that you have to think like that, but probably from the consumer preference, from the audience preference, from the data what you get or the data what you want. And I can be largely wrong, but fact is that large producers, most of the content creators, writers, they think that where is my TG, where is my audience is going to be there, and this story will cater to which audience if I take to which platform. So to come to your question, yes, that when we're looking at a large part of the country, it is not only the reach, it is not only the hardware, it is not only the Wi-Fi accessibility. You have to make a content for that audience. So when you make a Jamtara, probably you cater to an audience or you cater to a Hindi heartland. I mean, we have seen shows last few years, like when you make a Mirzapur, when you make a Patal Lok, when you were paying or even there's a lovely piece of content which is Panchayat, I think, which came in year or year before last. So every content serves a particular audience. Now, does it spill over to another audience? It is true, but there is always a TG whom you want to cater to when you write. So yes, when you are trying to take or trying to push your storytelling to the smallest of the town, the smallest of the village, the smallest of the Hindi heartland or the heartland of this country, you really have to think that what story will attract them, how they will feel relevant, the stories in their life, and that's the way you have to strategize. You can't ignore that fact completely as a fact of situation.
A lot of the titles we spoke about, Shivashish, were Hindi titles. What do you think? What is your take on the regional content or the language content which is there? Do you think there is a scope for taking regional content to reach out to significant masses, or should one's approach to be to reach out in pockets?
So I think that India, somewhere if you look at it, India or Bharat in either way you want to present it, we are like a mini Europe, or we are like an Europe, right? I don't think, I mean, if you look at the country, there are so many languages we make film. There are so many languages we make content. It is exactly like, I mean, if you're seeing a Tamil film and if you're seeing a Telugu film, if you're seeing a Hindi film, these are all for somewhere made for different audiences as a language barrier point of view. Fortunately, the streaming as a platform has made it completely democratic. So the moment a story comes in its in a subtitle, So whether I'm seeing a Narcos or Fauda or Money Heist, all of them are not in English. At the same point of time, in this year, I think in my mind, the best film of this year, Surarai Putturu, when I'm seeing in a Tamil film with the subtitle, or I'm seeing Mara Madhavan's film, one of the outstanding film of this year, then you are happily consuming content, whether you are sitting in north, whether you are sitting in south, so language is not the barrier. So in my mind, and as much as I closely work in this to my limited level of experience, closely work in this industry, there are significant good quality of writing and good quality of content coming out from the regional market. If you look at this year itself, if you look at there are two beautiful, I think one in Netflix and one in Amazon. One which came as Putham Puru Kalai. There was one story of Rajiv Menon I saw. Then Paga Kadaigal, which is in the Netflix. The beautiful story of Sudha Gangarawat. These are like some anthologies. So some very good shows or stories this year, which has came from the regions. If you look at, and also in the same space, there are platforms which caters only to regional content. Let's take a case of example of Hoichoi in Bengali, right? So I love seeing content of different regions. Not only, I mean, not a question of me, but a large part of Indian audience consume content because there is no barrier of language now. You see content with a subtitle, and like you enjoy a content we have a foreign language, similarly you enjoy a content of any other language. So next big growth, or already that growth actually is happening now, is not necessarily only from the Hindi content, but across the country, across from different regions, different pockets of the country.
Sakiba, what's your take on this in terms of, from an actor's perspective? Do you think that there is a dearth of homegrown stories like, say, Rangbaz or a Pariksha? Have we started relying on international adaptations or remakes more than we should? What do you think? Will we be able to balance the scale from a homegrown Indian storytelling to adaptations from the international content that is there?
I think there is a good balance in both the things. Like I heard Dada mention Panchayat. I There has been a Rangbaz, there has been a Mirzapur, there has been a film like Kagaz. There are stories like that, but also on the other hand, you have content like Mismatched on Netflix, and the other kind of urban content that is coming out. So I think there is an interesting mix of content that is coming out. I think also as creators, people are trying to do different things. They're trying to push the envelope, whether it is to make period. Like Kabir had made Forgotten Army. I don't know if that was a film, how would it have been in terms of, because I feel like the story required the scale of a series and those many episodes. So I think there's been a very interesting balance in the kind of stories that we're making. At one point, in fact, I felt like, if I can be honest, that there were too many heartland stories coming. There were too many heartland stories at one point, but now I think we've reached a stage where we are making different kind of pieces to consume for different kind of people, and we are catering to different demographics within the country. So yeah, it's an interesting phase for an actor. I like, for example, I have done a Rangbaz, and I have done a film like Comedy Couple, which is a completely urban film where I play a stand-up comic, which is a very urban concept. If you think on a larger scale, that okay, he's playing a stand-up comic, but there I'm playing a rural gangster. So yes, people are trying to maintain the balance, people are trying to do different kind of things, and going forward you'll see more of the balance, in fact.
From a business perspective to an actor's perspective, Siddharth, what do you think, from a writer's perspective? Today, the viewers are actually spoiled for choices, and with theaters, there is a definite pressure of box office, which is there in terms of the opening, in terms of the first week collection, etc., and it is measured a lot of times by that yardstick. However, if you look at online streaming or OTT specifically, that yardstick is not there. The numbers are not really public. So, how do you, as a writer, decide the journey, and what is the measurement of success for you?
Avi, I can't talk much about the business pressures because, on the face of it, it seems like, the business in films are like, there's a lot of pressure in that. I don't think that pressure is there at that scale on OTT. I can be completely wrong, but that's my observation. Because you needed to have all these weekend collections and openings, and Taran Adarsh and Komal Nahata of the world, कि क्या हुआ भाई ये फ्राइडे सैटरडे को हुआ या नहीं हुआ. But on OTT, though we are trying to replicate that model on OTT also, कि फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे तक सारे रिव्यूअर्स के रिव्यू आ जाते हैं एंड whatever the word of mouth is, it is out in the open on Twitter. They are debating, they are banning, or whatever they are doing. But this happens in the first week, and after that, somehow there is a gradual decline in the talkability of that particular show. It can be the biggest of the shows, but you can see the constant decline in the talkability of the show. So I'm not very sure about the shelf life of Indian shows per se, because I haven't seen people really talking about a particular show after 6 months of its release. Because by that time they must have gotten to see, some newer show or some new films on OTT. So I'm still not very sure about that. But yeah, that pressure of opening is much less on OTT platforms. And that's a good thing actually, because, ultimately some shows do take time, the word of mouth or whatever you call it, because, it can take like a week to reach to that level. Like Panchayat, for example, when people started watching it, then they started talking about it, and that's how the show picked up, because it was a very small TVF slice of life, heartland kind of show, but in a very different, at a very different sur. The sur was quite different. Same thing, I guess, happened with a lot of shows actually, which was not promoted at that scale, but they picked up in 1 week or so. We usually don't give that much time to a film, because if it hasn't done well in the first or second week, it is out of theaters. But here there is a shelf. You can always find that show, and it can take a week or so or a couple of weeks to, generate that talkability. And after that, people start watching it. Okay, there is a show called Panchayat on Amazon, let's watch it. And yeah, so I guess that's the major difference. And it's obviously better because, that pressure of weekend collection and a tweet from Mr. Nata or Mr. Adarsh, that's not there. It's a relief.
So I think we're running short of time. Sakib, the last question I'll ask you. There is the entire OTT content that we spoke about, and there is cricket also, which is a big form of entertainment for India. And you being a massive fan of the game, also a part of a big release which is coming up. How do you think cricket and movie, both cricket as well as the movie, can entertain and inspire Bharat?
Sir, tell me one thing. We were in a lockdown. What happened when IPL happened? I felt like the whole country united. Like I was feeling, you were hearing this is happening in the country, that is happening in the country. As soon as IPL began, the whole country was sitting in front of a television screen. So yes, cricket plays a massive factor in binding a Bharat together, and so does movies. Uh, I'm really excited that I got to be part of a film that is celebrating the biggest cricketing history, biggest cricketing victory of our country. To be able to play Mohinder Ramannath in 83 has been a great experience for me. So I'm really excited and my fingers are crossed. And a lot of people keep telling me, I keep meeting people. He's like, 83 is that film that will bring people back to theaters. I'm like, I wish, I hope, and I really want that to happen. But I want it to happen really fast. So I would request Dada on on the call right now. He happens to be the producer on the film to give us some clarity. Ki, what can we do when people ask me this question? When is that film going to come? What is going to happen? So I'm like, of course, sooner or later it has to come out. And also the fact that 83 is a film set in 1983. So if it comes out today or tomorrow, it still stays relevant. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping it comes out really soon. Rest Dada can only tell you what their strategy is. But I've had a great time making that film, and I'm really happy I got to be part of that story. So yes, fingers crossed. Hoping that it brings back cheer in people's life.
We look forward to it. I think all the best, Sakib and Shubhashish.
Thank you, Avi. Thank you.
What last comment from each one of you in terms of a message that you would want the audience to go with? Maybe we could start with you, Shubhashish.
I think the only message which I want to leave is that last 1 year when we have been completely in the lockdown phase, there are two things that happened. I think, and this first comment is not necessarily my comment. This is a comment which I get from the colleagues or the friends who are across working in different platforms. I think the first 4-5 months we are in a huge amount of the entire human beings or mankind were in an amount of depression. The storytelling and the content consumption has allowed us to have our mental balance. You spend 10, 12, I mean, you spend the entire day at home with your families and constantly hearing depressing news, only counting the number of deaths and counting the number of affected. The only thing which has kept you afresh or kept you refreshed into those times is that how you are seeing different stories across the globe, across streaming platforms. So storytelling or story consuming is extremely important so far as our life. It is not only us as an India, but for globally, it has helped people to come out of that situation. And this is extremely relevant. And this is all in the hands of the writers and the creators who made those stories. So I think what I want to end up this conversation on today's discussion is that how important role this entertainment sector or the writers, creators, talents, actors, they can all play was most relevant in the last 1 year.
Right. Siddharth?
Like message for the audience
Yeah.
or the consumers.
Yes, for the audience.
Okay. So two messages. First, don't press skip intro. See who have made this. And the second, if you don't like a particular show, just switch it off. Don't asking to ban the show. That's not going to help in the new Bharat. No, that's my only suggestion.
Sakib, what would be your message for everyone?
My sentiments are the same. I'd just like to add to what Dada and Siddharth have said that we've had a really tough time last year. We've had a really tough year. A lot has happened in the last year. But I think the entertainment industry within that time space also has tried to make good quality content for audiences. And I shot for a film in the pandemic, which released in the pandemic, and I know of so many other people. So yes, if you thank you for being patient. There are a lot of things that are coming in, a lot of things in the entertainment sector, film shows that are coming out. But like what Siddharth said, that don't watch it if you don't like it, man. It's all right. It's why skip intro? Just skip the show. It doesn't matter. Just watch what you like. There is a buffet. There is a buffet for all of you. There is butter chicken. There is shahi paneer, but there is also tiramisu cake. You decide what you want to eat and just consume that. And stay safe, guys. The vaccine's just here, almost there. So stay safe, and hopefully we can bring 83 to you in theaters, and then we'll have fun.
Thank you so much, Sakib.
Thank you, Avi.
Clearly, this was a insightful session. I think online streaming is evolving, and there is a huge potential which is there. Clearly, from the discussion, we understood that content and the consumer continues to be the king, and we're looking forward to the next phase of growth. I would like to thank Shubhashish, Sakib, and Siddharth for taking out the time and being a part of this discussion. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Garima,
for having me.
for bringing all of us together.
So much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you to all our panelists for
you,
taking
Avi.
time out and for such an engaging session. And thank you to the audience as well. We will see you all in our next session in a short while. And meanwhile, if any of you want to visit our virtual exhibition space, please do visit and check out our partner booths. Thank you everyone for being a part of this channel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Bye. Bye.